Hey everyone, and welcome back to CrimePod Castle for another deep dive. You know those stories that grab you by the collar and just won't let go? The ones that make you question everything you thought you knew about love, trust, and the very nature of power.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Those cases where the lines between passion and deception become so blurred, you can't tell where one ends and the other begins.
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. A story that unfolded in the heart of Bengaluru, India, back in 2021. It's a story of a respected police officer, a captivating journalist, a secret affair, and a scandal that sent shockwaves through the city.
Buckle up, folks, because this one's got it all love, betrayal, power, and a whole lot of twists and turns that'll leave you wondering who to trust and what's really going on beneath the surface.
Okay, so let's paint the scene. It's Bengaluru 2021, a city known for its vibrant tech scene, its forward-thinking outlook, and its bustling energy. But behind the facade of progress and modernity, a storm is brewing, a scandal that will expose the raw human drama playing out in the shadows.
It's like peering behind the curtain, right? You have this image of a city on the rise, a beacon of innovation, and then bam, this scandal hits, and suddenly you're seeing a whole different side of Bengaluru, one filled with secrets, lies, and the kind of passions that can lead to destruction.
And at the center of this storm is ACP Rajesh Varma, a highly decorated police officer, seemingly living the perfect life.
Yeah, you know the type. The guy who's got it all. The successful career, the loving family, the respect of his peers. He's the epitome of a model citizen. But as we'll soon discover, even the most polished facades can crack, revealing the complexities and contradictions that lie within.
And then there's Nandita Rao, a young, ambitious journalist hungry to make a name for herself in the world of crime and law enforcement.
She's got that fire in her belly, driven and determined to break the big stories and make a difference. She's covering the police beat, which means she's interacting with high-ranking officers like Rajesh on a regular basis. So you can see how their paths would cross professionally. But then things take a turn.
Oh, a big turn. What starts as a professional relationship quickly evolves into something much more complicated and a lot more dangerous. They embark on a passionate affair, a secret they try desperately to keep hidden from the world.
Oh, forbidden love. The classic recipe for drama and intrigue. But it's not just the affair itself that's so captivating. It's the power dynamic at play here. He's a senior officer. She's a reporter covering his beat. That immediately creates a situation ripe for potential abuse of power, whether intentional or not.
And that power imbalance becomes a key part of the story as their relationship unfolds. Nandita starts to question Rajesh's honesty and his true intentions. She's seeking a deeper commitment, but she's also uncovering cracks in his facade.
It's that classic push and pull, right? She's falling for him, but she's also sensing that something's not quite right. There's a dissonance between the image he projects and the man she's getting to know behind closed doors.
And while Nandita is grappling with her feelings and her growing suspicions, Rajesh is trying to maintain his carefully constructed double life.
Talk about pressure. Trying to keep those two worlds separate, the upstanding officer and the man entangled in his secret affair. It's a recipe for disaster.
And that disaster is about to hit because Rajesh's wife, Anita, gets wind of the affair.
Oh boy, here comes the drama.
She suspects something's off and hires a private investigator to confirm her suspicions.
It's like a ticking time bomb, isn't it? That moment when the truth starts to unravel and you know there's no going back.
And the truth is about to explode in a way that no one could have predicted. It's November 2021 and the scandal breaks wide open. Nandita, feeling betrayed and hurt, decides to leak everything to the media.
Wow, talk about a bombshell. She's not holding back. She's putting it all out there. The intimate messages, the photos, the details of their relationship, and the allegations of wrongdoing.
And Bengaluru is left reeling. The city is buzzing with rumors and speculation. The media is having a field day, and the police department is scrambling to contain the fallout.
So we have this backdrop of a city in shock, a police force under scrutiny, and a love affair gone very, very wrong.
Welcome to CrimePod Castle's Twisted Love series.
We're going to dissect this scandal piece by piece, examining the players, the motives, and the consequences that rippled outward from this tangled web of love and deceit.
So who exactly was ACP Rajesh Varma? What drove him to risk everything for this affair?
From what we've been able to gather, Rajesh was the epitome of a decorated officer. He had an exemplary service record. He was known for his strong leadership. He was respected by his peers and admired by the community.
It seems like he had it all, the career, the family, the reputation. So what led him down this path of secrecy and betrayal?
That's the question that keeps coming up, right? Was it ambition? Was it a midlife crisis? Was it a genuine connection with Nandita that spiraled out of control?
And on the other side of this equation, we have Nandita Rao, a 29-year-old journalist who's making a name for herself covering crime and law enforcement. It's easy to see how their paths crossed professionally and then, well, personally. But there's that power dynamic we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Exactly. He is in a position of authority. She's covering his beat. It creates an inherent imbalance that can easily lead to blurred lines and questions about consent and manipulation.
And that's where things start to get really messy. As the relationship intensifies, Nandita starts to see cracks in Rajesh's facade. She wants more commitment, more honesty, and she begins to suspect that he's not the man she thought he was.
Think about the psychology of betrayal, especially when it involves someone in a position of authority. The feeling of being deceived can be devastating. It can lead people to act in ways they might not otherwise.
And in this case, that betrayal leads to a chain reaction that will have profound consequences for everyone involved.
It's like a domino effect. One decision, one revelation triggers a cascade of events that can't be undone.
And it all starts to unravel when Rajesh's wife, Anita, hires that private investigator.
Oh yeah, Anita. She's not going to stand by and watch her life fall apart. She's a force to be reckoned with, and she's determined to uncover the truth.
And the truth she uncovers is more explosive than anyone could have imagined.
It's not just about the affair. It's about allegations of misuse of power, financial impropriety threats, and intimidation. This is a scandal that goes way beyond a simple love triangle.
The media jumps all over it, painting a picture of a police officer gone rogue, a man who's abused his position for personal gain, and a young journalist caught in the crossfire.
And the public is outraged. They're demanding answers. They want to know how someone entrusted with upholding the law could betray that trust so completely.
The Bengaluru Police Department is forced to take action, launching an internal inquiry to investigate these serious allegations against one of their own.
This investigation is crucial because it's not just about Rajesh. It's about the integrity of the entire police force. It's about restoring public trust and ensuring that justice is served.
The investigators start digging into every aspect of the case. They're gathering evidence, interviewing witnesses, and trying to piece together a timeline of events.
They're looking at phone records, financial transactions, emails, anything that could shed light on the allegations against Rajesh and the extent of his involvement.
They're also speaking to Nandita, who gives a detailed account of their relationship, including specific instances of alleged misuse of power and intimidation.
Her testimony is crucial because it provides firsthand insight into the dynamics of their relationship and the potential abuse of power that took place.
And then there's the financial audit, which becomes a key piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, they're trying to trace the money trail. See if there's any evidence of financial impropriety or if Rajesh used his position for personal gain.
And the audit reveals some inconsistencies, raising even more questions about the source of Rajesh's funds and how he was able to shower Nandita with expensive gifts.
The pressure is mounting on Rajesh and the police department. The public is watching closely and they want to see accountability.
And as the investigation deepens, the consequences for Rajesh become increasingly clear.
His once stellar career, his reputation, his entire life is on the line.
He's placed on administrative leave while the investigation continues, and it becomes clear that he's facing a reckoning.
His carefully constructed world is crumbling, and the consequences of his actions are about to catch up with him.
And that brings us to the fallout of this scandal, the impact it had on Rajesh, on Nandita, on the police department, and on the city of Bengaluru itself.
This is where the story takes some unexpected turns, and we start to see the ripple effects of this affair reach far beyond the individuals involved.
It's a story that raises questions about power, love, betrayal, and the complexities of human nature.
It's a story that challenges our assumptions and forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about the systems we rely on and the people we trust.
So stay with us as we delve deeper into the Bengaluru police officer love scandal.
We'll unpack the investigation, the fallout, and the lasting impact this case had on everyone involved.
And we'll explore the broader questions about accountability, power dynamics, and the ethical dilemmas that arise when personal desires collide with professional responsibilities.
This is a story you won't want to miss.
We'll be right back after a quick break.
You know, this whole thing really makes you think about the impact these scandals have on everyone involved. It's like a stone tossed into a pond. The ripples just keep spreading outward.
Yeah, it's not just about Rajesh and Nandita. It's about the damage to the police department, the erosion of public trust, and the sense of betrayal felt by the community.
Absolutely. And what about the other officers, the ones who've dedicated their lives to serving and protecting? How do you maintain morale and integrity within a department when something like this happens?
It must be incredibly difficult to grapple with that sense of disillusionment, you know, to see someone you've worked alongside, someone you might have even respected, violate that trust so completely.
It really shakes the foundation of the entire organization. And then there's the media. Their role in this whole saga is fascinating, too.
Oh, definitely. They were instrumental in bringing the scandal to light, but were they always fair and impartial in their reporting?
That's the question, isn't it? The media has a responsibility to inform the public, but they also have to be careful not to sensationalize the story or rush to judgment.
It's a tricky balance, right?
Hmm.
On the one hand, you want to expose the truth and hold those in power accountable, but on the other hand, you have to be mindful of the potential harm to the individuals involved.
Exactly. And in this case, you have Nandita Rao, who's both a journalist and a key figure in the scandal. That must have been incredibly difficult to navigate those ethical boundaries.
I can't even imagine trying to report on a story that you're personally entangled in. It raises all sorts of questions about objectivity and bias.
And what about the impact on her career? Did this experience taint her reputation? Did it make it harder for her to be taken seriously as a journalist?
It's a reminder that these scandals have real-world consequences that extend far beyond the headlines.
Absolutely. And it brings us back to that crucial question of accountability. Where do we draw the line between personal responsibility and systemic failures?
Right. Was this solely about Rajesh Varma's choices, or were there broader issues within the police department that contributed to this situation?
Were there red flags that were ignored? Were there policies or procedures that were inadequate? These are the questions that investigators and reformers need to grapple with.
It's about identifying the vulnerabilities in the system and putting safeguards in place to prevent similar incidents from happening again.
And it's about creating a culture of transparency and accountability where wrongdoing is swiftly addressed and ethical behavior is the expectation, not the exception.
This case also shines a light on the complexities of power dynamics, not just within law enforcement, but in any relationship where there's an imbalance of power.
It's about recognizing the potential for abuse and understanding how those dynamics can play out in subtle and not so subtle ways.
It's about empowering individuals to speak up when they see something wrong, to set boundaries and to hold each other accountable.
And it's about fostering a culture of respect where everyone feels safe and valued regardless of their position or status.
So what happened to Rajesh after his demotion? Did he disappear from public life altogether?
We don't have much information about his life post-scandal, and it's important to respect his privacy. But it's safe to say that the consequences of his actions likely continue to have a profound impact on him.
And what about Nandita? How did this experience shape her career and her advocacy work?
Well, from what we've been able to gather, it seems like she channeled that experience into something positive. She continued her journalism career, focusing on issues related to women's safety and law enforcement accountability.
It sounds like she turned a painful experience into a force for good, using her platform to raise awareness and advocate for change.
It's a testament to her resilience and her commitment to making a difference.
It really is. It takes a lot of courage to speak truth to power, especially when you've been personally affected by those abuses.
This whole case, with all its twists and turns, its betrayals and consequences, leaves us with a lot to think about.
It definitely does. It challenges our assumptions about the people we trust, the systems we rely on, and the choices we make in our own lives. So as we wrap up our deep dive into the Bengaluru police officer love scandal, it's clear that this case is about so much more than just a love triangle.
It really is. It forces us to confront some uncomfortable truths about human nature, the abuse of power, and the systems that are supposed to protect us.
And it raises some really important questions about accountability, both on an individual level and within institutions like the police department.
Absolutely. When someone in a position of authority abuses that power, it erodes public trust and can have a devastating impact on the entire community.
This case sparked a lot of debate about what safeguards can be put in place to prevent something like this from happening again. What kind of systemic changes need to occur to ensure that law enforcement officers are held to the highest ethical standards?
That's a critical question, and there's no easy answer. It's about creating a culture of transparency and accountability where there are clear consequences for wrongdoing and where officers feel empowered to speak up when they see something wrong.
And it's about addressing those underlying issues that might contribute to this kind of behavior.
Right.
Things like power imbalances, a lack of oversight, and a culture of silence.
Right. It's about making sure that there are multiple layers of protection in place so that one person's bad decisions don't have such far-reaching consequences.
We also talked about the role of the media in this case and the ethical considerations involved in reporting on these kinds of scandals.
It's a tough line to walk. You want to expose the truth and hold those in power accountable, but you also have to be mindful of the potential harm to the individuals involved.
Especially in a case like this where there are allegations of abuse and manipulation. It's crucial to protect the privacy and dignity of those who might be victims.
And to avoid sensationalizing the story or contributing to a culture of victim blaming.
The Bengaluru police officer love scandal is a story that really makes you think. It's a reminder that even in a society that's striving for progress and modernity, we're still grappling with these age-old issues of power, love, and betrayal.
And it highlights the importance of having those tough conversations about ethics, accountability, and the systems that are supposed to protect us.
This case had a profound impact on everyone involved: Rajesh, Nandita, the police department, and the city of Bengaluru itself. It forced them all to confront some uncomfortable truths and to grapple with the consequences of those actions.
And it left us with a lot of questions, to ponder questions about how we can create a more just and equitable society where power is used responsibly and where everyone feels safe and valued.
We want to thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the Bengaluru police officer love scandal. We hope this exploration has been informative and thought-provoking.
We always appreciate the opportunity to delve into these complex cases with you and to examine the human stories behind the headlines.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow and subscribe to CrimePod Castle on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our YouTube channel for even more captivating true crime content.
Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and as always, stay vigilant.